Before I kick things off with Jake, right, I just want to have a couple of brokerage announcements for you. I'm going to project my voice a little bit louder so that everyone can hear, hopefully. Is that better, ladies? Yes. All right, so just a quick couple things before we start. First reminder, this is the only one you'll get from me, is that RICO fees, our annual RICO insurance is due August 23rd. So please don't call me August 24th with a sob story about why you can't trade in real estate. You would have received probably about 10 emails from here until August 23rd from RICO. So if you read any one of them, you'll know that your renewal fees are due August 23rd. So please remember to do that. Second thing, really last thing, some of you may or may not know, I'm also the new FINTRAC compliance officer. Thank you. Now, I don't like to be long-winded about these things, so our upcoming FINTRAC classes will be as short as I can possibly make them. Just note that they are mandatory for the majority of us. Most of us have not been to a FINTRAC class for quite some time. So we'll be doing that. It is a requirement. You are supposed to show up for FINTRAC classes at some point in time. We will have dates and whatever else, dates and times to be posted, but please, yes, Debbie.
So once a year, once every 2 years?
FINTRAC is technically once every 2 years. However, CASL and anti-scam legislation, that's supposed to be a yearly training course that you attend. So we're just going to combine all three into one brief power hour, which is what I'm hoping for. And we'll probably do that once a year as a requirement for everyone. We'll run it a couple times, but everyone has to be there once a year, which is the idea. Okay? Passing it off to Jacob. There you go.
All right, guys, welcome to our Realm training. Please give a warm welcome to Gary McGowan. He's been buying and selling. So he's been a title organization for 13 years. He's been training Realm for over 2 years now at this point. So you're in good hands. Take lots of notes and enjoy the class.
Thank you.
You, Jacob.
All right, my friend. This is a packed room. This is exciting. Whether you like it or not, this is exciting. I'm going to ask a few questions, like the classics. Who has ever logged into Realm? Okay, for those that haven't, I don't know what to say. For those that have logged into Realm, who just doesn't like it? It's okay, safe space, yes. Who's like, I just want to know how to use it? Who just doesn't even want to say the word Realm? Like just like it's like right there. I got you. You up here. I got you. Okay. So we're gonna do a few things today. And we're gonna drive as fast as you want to drive. And here's what today is, and here's what today isn't. Okay, if that's okay. Today is a day of learning. Today, I want you to leave here knowing how to do your favorite tasks that you currently do in Stratus, you can do in Realm. Have the time today for me to come and look at your laptop to show you that you're putting the period in the wrong spot or something like that. It's not a tech support day. What it is a day on how to navigate through Realm. So when you're sitting in front of your client or you're doing a CMA or you're standing there at a showing and someone's asking for information, you can pull it up like this, right? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let me give you a little background on why I'm here today. I'm going to show you how, and I know I'm tech savvy, and I find things like this really easy. And I know a lot of us in here perhaps don't, and I will be patient with you. We'll be patient together. Here's how I got to this journey. Is the day that Realm came out, I think it was December 22, something around there. It finally launched, and I logged into it. And 2 hours later, I produced about a 15-minute video on how to navigate through Realm. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I was basically clicking buttons, saying what I was doing. An hour later, I got a phone call from Trev, and you never want to get a phone call from Trev. I got messages from Terranet thanking me. And during that time, I've spoken to thousands of realtors across the Toronto Real Estate Board and elsewhere, because Realm is actually popping up in some other boards as well on how a realtor uses Trev. Because we've all seen the design of it, we've seen different things, and they've had their engineers create it, but they never had a realtor show them how it would be. use. And I started doing that. And there's a few things that I liked, and there was a lot of things that I didn't. And we've had some really good back and forth in creating a great relationship. And there might be things that come up today that perhaps I've never thought of before. And I'll go take it to Realm, and we might be able to get some of those things implemented. Like, as stupid as this sounds, when we expect to print off a listing, we want to be able to print off the broker view, right? Is that like something so simple to us? Well, in the early days, they didn't understand that that was a necessity. So different things like that. That's why it's important to have these communication and have these classes. You might have heard me say this in the past, and I'm going to get something out here. Why are we making this change? This is we're going to have, this is going to be a lot of interaction today. You're going to watch me do some stuff, and I'm going to do it on the screen here. But why are we making this change? Anyone have an idea why we're changing from the current Stratus version to the new Realm version? Politics. Politics. What else?
Have a job.
Does someone have a job? Thank you. What else?
This is the emails our clients get. We're very user friendly.
The emails aren't user friendly. Okay, I like it. I like it. Why else are we making this change? Money. I see a certain thread happening right here. I don't know about you guys. What else? It needs updating. Okay, I like that answer because that's a good segue where I want to go. Why are we making this change? Here's the one thing I do know. We think as realtors, we're so good. We're entrepreneurial. We do a lot of things outside the box. But you know what I found? And maybe you kind of know this too, especially realtors that have been in the business a long time. Realtors hate what? Change. Why? There's too much of it. Realtors that are, listen to me for a second here, and I've had the opportunity to coach realtors right across the country, whether they're brand new or been in the industry for 25 years and making multiple $1 million a year. I've been in those conversations, been in those masterminds, been able to coach them. And you know what those realtors are willing to do? Change. Our interest rates have changed, right? We've had to adapt, so let's adapt, okay? When Apple launched this. Anybody know what this is? Oh, yes. This is the iPhone 4. This is exactly an iPhone 4. This is actually my wife's. I have a black one. The white is a little easier to see. This, when I got it in my hands, I don't know. Is it 12 years ago now? I can't remember. We'll say 12 years ago. This was the best piece of technology I've ever owned my entire life. Would anyone agree with that? Like yes, we see some hands. Yeah, you might say, and go with me, it kind of changed the way we do business. Yes. And I know some of you are like true BlackBerry fans. Where my buttons go? Yeah. I get you. I'm with you. I had the BlackBerries as well. But this changed. This was so ahead of its time. Look at every phone now, it's all touchscreen. If this is and was so good, why do I have a brand new iPhone in my other hand? Technology. They could not get any more technology in this. That is the exact reason, in fact, why the current Stratus has been the same for the last 8 years. They cannot cram any more technology into it, and we have to update the devices and the platform that we're using in it. So we do all the things that we want to do. And you might say to yourselves, I don't care that Realm's mobile. Well, you know what? There's a big group of people that do care. And it is becoming more importantly that we have this information while we're out in the, we'll call it the field, than we do while we're sitting back at the office and we're printing off listings. And I haven't printed, I do showings all the time, and I still trade in real estate. I have not printed off a listing in probably 12 months because I have it all on my phone. All on my phone. And what's amazing about phones? Play with me. What is amazing about phones? What do I not need to know when I have my phone in my pocket? Anything. You pretty much summed up. There's no other answer. Right? I don't need to know anything. I'm as smart as my little internal Google mind can let me be, right? I don't need to remember the lot size. I don't remember here's the one thing that I love about the Realm app. I can put a lot of things in this brain, a lot of it's useless. But the one thing I know I can't remember is when I go to a showing, and maybe you're like me, I don't know, or maybe you can retain this type of information, and it'll always happen. You're there with a client, you're looking at some beautiful homes, and the client says, "Hey, what school would my kids go to in this house?" And what do we typically do? We either know it, or I'm going to have to get back to you. I can show you within seconds, whether you're on the phone or the desktop. I can tell you what's within seconds. It's just little things like that perhaps we didn't know that we needed, and now that I know that I have that information, it's so invaluable, right? So we need to change the way that our industry is changing, because who's changing faster than we are? Clients, that's right. We got to stay ahead of our clients. And I know what you're already thinking, but Gary, there's already a great app out there. Right, their clients are already using it, right? Everyone's smiling, right? Everyone's using House Sigma. It's what it is, right? And it is a great app. However, it doesn't have all the information, right? And that's what Realm will allow us to do. Okay, so I'm gonna. This is going to be. Excuse me, let me grab some water. This is going to be kind of class-led of where we go, and I'm going to show you kind of your favorite things today. Like how to navigate, how to pull up some simple things, how to get maybe a little bit more creative in your search criteria. Excuse me. And the one thing I do want to know from you guys, if we get a little list going, and I'm going to make sure we cover all these things on the items that you want to leave with today. So shout some out, and then there's one thing that you'll learn from me is I'll spell how I think it's spelled. Thank you, Barry. So what are some of the things you want to get out of today? Shout them out. CMN. Okay. Of course you start there.
How to narrow down your search, like if you would like to say 5 properties out of 10. I can narrow that.
A search. I'm going to just do a narrow like this, narrow it down, right? I got you. See, you pull up 100 listings, but you don't want to see, you only click on 5 of them. How do you see those 5? I got you. What else? Stats. Oh, you know me, I love stats. Okay, what else? Prospects. What else? That's it? Oh, we're going to be done early. Good, we go back to, yes. Let's do this, historical. Good. What else? There's another hand up. Sorry, say that again.
Print a single page for the client copy.
Yeah, okay, printing. 1 page. I'll get to you on both of them, both broker view and client view. Yeah.
Your favorites list or your houses or homes that are watch.
Like the cards.
Manipulate, sort of that.
Yeah, list carts. Do it. About 8 years ago, I'm gonna say I stumbled upon listing carts in Stratus. Are they not the best thing in the world? Who's using listing carts in Stratus? If you're not, actually, you should never use listing carts in Stratus. You know what you should be using? Lists in Realm. I'm gonna show you how to use lists in Realm. I use lists for everything from CMAs to here's the 5 showings I'm going to do today. This is awesome. I love the list. Yeah, what else? We use that for many different things. Yeah.
Your clients, like, I find it hard going in, my clients have their life that is added to it, but to actually be able to find it where their life list is.
So we can do, good thing I wrote so big. Likes. Yeah, good. That's good. What else? Anything else?
Any particular area like we are looking at, so if somebody looking for a particular school, and Jacksonville School. So how will I search the townhouse and around Jacksonville School?
Got you. So school zones, can I say that?
Yeah, any zone, it's just an example.
Okay, sure. School zone, and I'm gonna write here shape, because that's gonna remind me of how to show you how to do that. Good. What else? Anything else? Yeah. Filters, yeah, searches. So that we'll get that right in here. Perfect. That's good. Yeah, do that. Okay, I'm gonna add that into here, so emails. Yeah, what else we got?
You need to edit the listing in the listing or do you just put that edit?
Okay. We're a little above and beyond what we're gonna do today. We're talking about editing listings. So yes, you can go into the edit feature into a listing.
But you always copy the one number once you get there. Like,
You sometimes, yes, sometimes you'll write into it and edit this listing, but a little more deeper than what we're doing today. Yeah.
One time in the beginning, like maybe about a month ago, like.
I love that you think the month and a half ago was the beginning.
Hold on, my beginning.
Oh, I got you.
All my prospect actions Stratus over to Umbrella. That was like 120. And then so I used to the bounce backs every day. abc@gmail.com, right? And then I would put that email into the client search button. If that I would hit it, and then I see about Jack Stiff or like Prince, right? So that now that search is, I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Not entirely, but so it's just a matter of you bringing your clients or your prospects over.
You know, like the bounce back, right? Every day there's a bounce back.
Yes.
Right? And
I got you.
the email is abc@gmail.com. And I'm like, who the hell is abc@gmail.com? Because I have so many people in my base. So then a month and a half ago, I would be able to put that abc.gmail.com and it would come out Jack Smith.
Got you.
But now I've been doing the same thing. I can't do it. I don't know if they just do that or it's so clear.
We'll have to play around with that one. So basically going into your contacts and searching it by name, email, phone number, that type of thing. And that's kind of what's been connected. Okay. I'll look at that perhaps afterwards. Yeah, another one.
Some of it, other ones, the drop down, when you're searching, some of the drop down, how you have to like put down the user and go back up and box.
Okay.
Yeah, go away. And so don't-
I agree with you.
I agree with you too.
Right. And then-
There are a few things.
You don't have that time.
Yeah. When we do search properties, I'll show you the quick, I don't want to call it hack or shortcut, but I'll show you what to do with that. And I actually have brought that up to say it's just, let's fix this.
Yeah.
But I'll show you what to do with that. Okay, we'll do a couple more right in the back. I come to you.
The drop down tab with the manage my profile, is there any way that gets customized or is that just as it's set up? Is there-
I'll show you how to manage your profile in means editing your profile.
No, the drop down at the top.
That does,
Right here,
yes. So when we're logged in, we hit the little dice and there's a whole bunch of menus or shortcuts that come up. I got you. That cannot be customized. However, my go-to there, and I'll show you what we're talking about in just a minute, is if I know I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I don't know. Give me something. I can't.
GeoWare.
That's a great idea. If I'm looking for GeoWares, I'll just start typing Geo in the search bar. Yeah, that's it. Okay, last one.
Listing history, so not address history, the actual listing where you would find if there was a price change for the house, a sold conditional that fell through.
I love that. You know why I love it? Because me and my other colleagues said that is so important to us as realtors when we're looking at pricing a property or giving value on a property, especially when we want to offer on a property. And they were able to implement that. Listing history. Yeah, I'll show you how to do that. See, my spelling is a little bit dyslexic there. That's okay. You got it. You got it. Okay, that's good. That's good. And I know there's a lot more that we talked about. I know that as we go through this, we're going to cover a lot of those things. So who logs? I know we all do now, but I log directly into Realm. There's no need to go into Stratus or into the Trev Hub or anything like that. Does everyone log directly into Realm now? I think they changed that the last few weeks, right? And the address for that, should you need it, the address for that is, hang on a second, let me just flip over to this screen here. Where am I going? Here we go. Is Trev, T-R-R-E-V, I should write this down. Dot realm mlp.ca. Yeah, Treb, TRREB dot realm mlp.ca. That'll take you right to the screen right here. I'm gonna write this
That
down.
was 2 M's, right?
2 M's.
Okay.
Or so can you write that down, please? No. I think I can remember. Oops, Trev. Dot. Realm. MLP.ca. And so that'll take me right to the splash screen, and I'm gonna log in as a member. Yeah, we know it's replacing July 30th, my friends, big day. Big day. Enter my code. This is my man. Don't make me do this. It's for real. You're putting me off my game. I can't remember my code. 955-077. 955-077.
I know nothing about Brown. Don't even have a login.
And everyone's already set up on this, right? Everyone's has this opportunity. Authorization code 939-293.
Tech support, folks, that's it.
Okay, first things first, sigh of relief. I got logged in during a training class. That's always a big deal. Okay, my friends. Is this the first time you've ever seen your screen? Yes, congratulations. For those that have been logged in before, my screen looks different than your screen, right? Because what happens is it remembers a few things, like the most recent properties I've looked at. I have my market areas on the left-hand side here, and I keep track of about, I think you can keep track of 6 different areas. We'll look at that in just a second. And all of these are my recently viewed listings, as I just said. As I scroll down, and we'll go through this in a little bit more detail here. You can see some of my lists and some of the other news and stuff like that. And here's what you need to know. From left to right, we're going to talk about a few things. I'm going to skip a couple of things and then come back to it. Is that okay? Good. Good. Doesn't matter what page I'm on. If I hit my Realm logo in the top left, it will always bring me back to this home page. Sometimes that's important. You just want to go back home sometimes, right? Am I right? You want to go home. So that's how you do that. Here's the search bar. And if I click the search bar, it tells me what I can do with it. Here's what it doesn't do. And I've seen some confusion over this because we're used to some other apps. And you think you could just type 123 Main Street and it'll take you to 123 Main Street. That's not how this search bar reacts. It actually tells you what you can do with it up here. So if you see here, if I know my MLS number, I can copy and paste and put it there. Of course, the PIN number, land registry. If I just want to search up and go right to searching listings, I can click this button, or I can go to the land registry. We'll do that together in a moment, but just so you understand, that search bar is not just to give you an intersection. I'll show you how to do that when we get to the map view, okay? If I click that magnifying glass, it'll take me, I'll show you, it'll take me right to the search, right into the map, which is pretty handy. That's one of my favorite things to do. Let's go back home. I can also click the search, and that'll take me to that exact same page. So what you'll learn today, or what you perhaps have seen, there might be more, or there not might be, there will be more than one way to do the same thing. Whatever you feel, there's no right or wrong way. Just do what you feel is the best way for you. Contacts, we'll get into that, self-explanatory. Documents, you can store documents within the platform for you and your clients. Frankly, I don't. We have so many different, like we have command and everything else for that sort of thing. And then right over here is our chat feature. We'll get into that in just a minute. If there's any notifications, the bell is up there. That home button will always bring me back to this home page. And then the dice, which what we were talking about before, if I click that, these are all the links to either within Realm or outside of Realm, like our market stats will be in here. Then you get to the listing and the ad edit and so forth. All those links that perhaps we like having from our Stratus view, they're all in there. Here's what I don't like about it. They all look the same, right? It's tough to distinguish. I just know that, hey, if I'm looking for something, and usually it's the same thing over and over again, like web forms. I use web forms to create my offers. I don't know about you guys. I just start typing web forms in the top there and it pops up pretty quick. So that's my workaround for that. That's what I use. Should you not know or remember how to do anything, there's the help button and you click, yep, oh, the screen didn't pop over for us. Okay, so when you click this button here, you can do that on your laptop. It'll take you to a help website, a support site, which has the big help doc in it, a few other things in it, and either fortunately or unfortunately for you, about 40 videos that I produced for it. So depending on how sick you get of my voice today, they'll all be there. And they'll be in short bite sizes, about 5 minutes long each one, like how to do a search or how to do this. And all of those are available there. If you never logged in before, or you have, and you've never set up your profile, you definitely want to set up your profile, because what Realm does, and I don't know if we can do it today, is when I send a listing to a client, it gets branded as me or as you. And it is, and I love that feature for it. And in fact, there's a few features that I really love, like when I'm on the app, and I don't know if we can do it on screen today, but if you does anyone, let me rephrase that. Everyone have the app downloaded? And if you logged into it, I heard a yes over here, like a really powerful yes. Yes, yes. You know, the one thing I love about the app, and we're trying to get it implemented into the desktop version, is if I'm on a listing in the app and I like it, I can hit share and I can text. There you go. I can text it to my client. You need to download the app. Yeah. Sorry? We'll get you there. We'll get you there. Yeah. The other nice thing with the app is it has Face ID or biometrics, and if you're on a Google Android, I'm sorry, but I don't use Google Android. It's very similar though, right? And the one thing I love about the app, have we all been lying on the couch after a long day? I don't want to say if. I know you've been lying on the couch after a long day, and a client sends you a listing, right? Through MLS or through something. You're like, oh, I got to go get my laptop just to see the broker notes on it. We've all been there, right? Right? Whether it's 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, doesn't matter, or later. Like, I got to go get my laptop. I just use the app. And it has everything. Everything you can see on the desktop version, you can see on the app. There's no difference. There's nothing being held back there, which I love. And you can text it. And when you text a listing on your mobile device, what happens when you text it? A little preview window comes up for your client, right? I absolutely love it. Whether it's in WhatsApp, your SMS or your iMessage, it's fantastic. Okay, back to where we belong here. My profile. If you have set your profile up, and that would be the first thing that I do is go in to edit my profile. And I would just obviously confirm that this is all the correct information. It's brought in from Rico and from Trev, so it should be your correct information. You can't edit that, but if need be, you got to talk to probably Trev and perhaps your office there. Add in your URL. So if you've got, some of us have websites, some of us are, as everyone is, big on social media. Put all of that in here because that information gets sent out with your emails and your signature and things like that. So that's really, really important. The personalization, so on the left-hand side here, you might recall this from Stratus. When the emails are going out, you can say, or you can customize what you want that email to say. So if I sent you a listing, the first one here is the heading. I've invited you to Realm. Well, let's just go down to excuse me, send listing, because that's typically what we do the most of, right? Whether you've invited them to the app or not, we send our listings, we send our prospects emails. I like going in and just changing that heading a little bit, because what it says for you is probably different what it says for me on the screen here. I just simply wrote listing for you to see right away. Provide a little urgency for them to open up your email. You can go customize that to anything. So if you've got a team brand or message or whatever your brand is, that's where you would go customize that. And I highly recommend you spending some time there and do that. You only have to do it once. And then of course your signature, that's self-explanatory, right? Like, make sure you take time to do that. You all good on that page? Yes.
I have one request. I don't know if you can do this or not. Because I'm trying to follow you on my computer, but sometimes you're switching to another page and I can't quite keep up with you. Maybe I should not try to do that, but.
Play along and I can go slower. I tend to talk a little fast. So at the bottom of that page is where your signature is.
Thank you.
Excellent. And yes, this is being recorded, right? Yes, being recorded. Good. Yes. That is a great question. I don't know that answer. Meaning this specific information. I don't know that. I did this such a long time ago. You just might want to confirm that. Or if it doesn't, just copy and paste what's in Stratus and bring it over to these elements here. Yeah. Okay, good. Scrolling back up to the top on our left-hand side here, that was personalization. Now I'm going to look at account. And this is nothing special. However, what you can do, we'll get into this a little bit. Who has right now in Stratus, when you log in and you have the map or the search, excuse me, set on something specific? You have a certain search that when you open it up, it automatically goes to Oshawa or it goes to wherever. So like that's where you would set this up. If you create a specific search that you want to be your home search, you can do that in a number of different spots, but you can change it right in here. So right now, my default search, and I'll show you, I'll play with this a little bit later, is Stouffville 4-bed. Right, these are all the searches that I have saved into the system, and I can choose, that's not coming up. So what I did here is I click this down arrow. It's interesting why it's not coming up. I click that down arrow and a number of different, all my searches are coming up, and I can choose that as my default search.
So would I know it's not done? Because it's not done.
I think just because of Google Meet's not seeing that, I'm not sure. I wonder if I stop sharing just for a moment, Don. And let me go back to Google Meet. What if I share my screen as opposed to just the window? That might help us.
So go to the bottom. So you're still gonna go to share?
Yeah.
And then if you switch website or school tags, it'll catch that. Yep.
Okay, how do I get rid of the double videos? Is there a way to do that?
Go to your presentation.
See, look at that. Excellent. Okay. We're on fire. We're good. So that's what I did there. I clicked that down arrow, and that's where all the other options come up. Excellent. Good stuff. And this page is really just customizing this site. Nothing's really specific here. That's under account. Now, my market areas, I love. These are my areas, my market areas. You have these in Stratus. Who uses these? Whether you use on a daily basis, some of us, I love this. Because what happens is I can, at a glance, keep track of what's going on in some of my favorite little local markets. I get very specific or very broad. And you can see in here what I have. I have Newmarket, Freehold, Stouffville, all types of properties, Georgina, and so on and so on. I'm sure you have something very similar to your favorite market areas. And you can have up to 6. Go in and create that search. I can do that. I can delete it right here. So now I can create a new area. So all I do is click the pencil and it'll bring me into a very specific area here. And I can start typing in exactly what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking in I can do all of Toronto Real Estate Board. I don't want to do that. That would just be way too much. I can go into Durham here. Oops. Select Oshawa, and I get right down into the community. I don't know what this is. I'm sure you guys do. And I can get specific when maybe I'm only looking for leases in this community if that's such a thing. And that would be, I would click save if I did that. Lease. So now I just created a new market area right here. And if I go back to my home page, just so you can see what this does for us, on the left-hand side, if I scroll down, you'll see that new market area. There's no listings yet because perhaps there's been not enough activity in that area. It might have been a bad example. I apologize. However, if I look at the top, I'm going to stick here for a moment. You can see this is everything that happened today. I can change that down to 1 month. Everything that happened today in new market for detached homes. I can click on just the new. So it'll just show me the 2 new listings, the price change, or obviously the sold. Especially if you've got a listing in a certain neighborhood, this is a great way to keep on top of something really, really quickly. The nice thing too is I can click over onto the listing side where you see that. Hopefully you can see that. If I click that, that's going to take me right into those 2 listings, which is very, very helpful. I'm going to get into that in just a bit. I'll show you how to read the listing. And I'll show you how to change it. Back to edit my profile, then we'll keep moving here. That's market areas. Notifications, very self-explanatory. Just like anything on your phone. How often and when do you want to get notified? And some things you can get notified daily. Other things I want to get notified in real time. Like if a client liked a property, maybe I want to know that in real time, right? Because then I can get on the phone with them or start messaging them, things like that. Whatever works for you and your business. And I would say this, whatever is going to allow you to service your clients even better. Right? So again, that's under notifications.
What notifications are those?
Everything in here. So all of the items in here, you can change and have customization over. Or you can set them all as one or the other, or go into individually set them. And sometimes for me, I want to know when clients are logging in, perhaps. Definitely want to know their liked properties. I want to see that instantaneously. Make it work for you and your business, though, right? So again, that's under notifications, and we can adjust that on the fly. You can also adjust that for the individual client. How often should they get notified? I'll show you how to do that.
So sorry, Gary, what's push? You have like real time and push.
Push. So
You have real time and not push.
excellent. Real time is going to give you a notification through email. Push is going to give you a notification on your app. Should you have, this is the catch. We can all diminish the notifications on our phones, right? Should you have the push notifications allowed on your app, right? Everyone uses their phone a little bit differently. I don't always want to be sitting in a meeting when my notifications are coming in. So if you're not seeing the notifications on your phone, just know that you might have an extra step there through just your phone device, right? Make sense? Yeah, good. That's a good question. So yeah, the question there is real time, daily, or never. A lot of these things I just want a daily recap type thing, right? Good.
Gary, can we just take a minute to highlight here that in the old Stratus, when we send clients an email, we never know if they get them or not. And now you can see whether they like the listing almost immediately as a text message.
Yeah.
Cool.
The little follow-up to that is providing they are logged in on the app, whether it's the app or desktop, right? If they just click a link, we won't really know that yet. But if they have the app loaded on their phone, you'll know their activity, which is one of those reasons why we want to get our clients onto the app. And I get it. Sometimes it's just easier servicing your client and not persuading them to get onto the app, but do what you can, especially if they're a new home buyer or they haven't bought a home in 10 years or 20 years. There are people that don't know about House Sigma and other apps, right? Get them onto your system, right? Good stuff. House Sigma, as we all know, it's another brokerage. So why would we want and encourage them to use another brokerage's platform? Think about it that way, right? That means that brokerage has all their information, can follow up with them, whether they want that or not. Land registry, we're gonna kind of hover over that. Just like in our current system, it's just loading here. I think we get 2,000 or 3,000 searches on land registry every year. I look up a lot of land registry information. I actually get to exceed that limit. So I wouldn't even worry about that. The nice thing too with Terranet, who is helping develop this, Terranet owns what? Anybody know? Geo Warehouse. So all that information is now connected, which is really, really good. Okay. Stratus lists. You should all have, if you've been in the industry for 6 months or 60 years, you all have lists or searches in Stratus, right? This is how you would import them. So you might want to spend, there's actually not much to do. You don't even need to spend time in here. You can do them all at one go, or if you like doing them one at a time, you can do them one at a time, and you simply would just select that one. You can see I've already done that one. I haven't used Stratus for my clients in really over 2 years, so I don't have a lot of activity on Stratus anymore. But I highlighted what you see there is Laverty, and I would just simply click the import. Where is it going to import? These are all my test accounts. Where would it import? So if I had Laverty as a client already on Realm, I would simply, if he's Sally Seller as an example, I would simply click Sally Seller is going to get that Laverty search and list. It'll automatically get connected to them. If it's not, just leave it as yourself. And you would just hit save and it's done. I'll show you how to look that up when we get to that part of the desktop version here. Pretty simple. Really, really simple. That's the list of properties that we have here. The next, yes.
Can you, if you're in Matrix and you're transferring over, is there something like that?
Gotta be honest with you, I'm not sure. I haven't used Matrix in about 8 or 9 years, so I don't recall. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know that answer. We'll find that out though. That's a good one. So those were lists. It's the exact same procedure for Stratus searches. So you can see I have a couple of searches there. One I'm not imported. It's the same procedure and it comes over right away. If I click that, I would hit import, done. So all those searches, I know some of you will have 100 different searches in Stratus or more. This is how you would do it. Right? Pretty straightforward. Good. That wraps up my profile. This only has to happen once. Okay? Everything else is now part of servicing your clients, everything else. Yes.
So if we were to hit our list of people to import, are they gonna get notified of like with the client invitation saying now you're invited to Realm?
I don't believe so. That's a good question. I think we still have to go in and actually send them the invite. So if you've got more than a lot, you might have to do that individually. Let me find that question out and I'll send it back to Donna. I don't know the answer to that actually.
Like it doesn't look that much different, I guess. It's been a while since I've seen my own emails, I guess, but like from what they are currently using in Stratus, how the email comes through versus what's gonna start showing up through Realm. Is it gonna look different or is the Realm one gonna start going to junk mail? And now you have to like retell them.
It shouldn't go to junk mail because when the email is sent, it's being now sent from your email address that you have in the system. So it should show up. In fact, mine show up in my typical inbox. It shouldn't go to junk mail. But here's a great way and a great reason for you to reach out to your clients. Hey, we just moved everything over to a brand new platform. It's better, it's faster, use all the adjectives you want. And I just want to make sure you're getting my emails. It's just another great excuse to talk to your clients. You like, think about it like that. Let's not think about this platform as just got to get everything over so my clients get their homes sold or homes bought. Like, we're not here to buy and sell homes. Do we agree? We're here to provide our clients with exceptional experience so they share it with others. Let Realm help us do that. Right? With that mindset, this is a totally different game, other than this is just another platform that I have. Right? We good? We're here. Good stuff. That's my profile. How do I get back to my home page? The Realm button. All right, the Realm logo. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Let me show you one of the things before we get into, I want to make sure we answer all these questions. How are we doing? Yeah, we're good. Who has looked at a Realm listing and thought to myself, where the heck is all the information that I'm used to seeing? I got you. Okay, I'm just going to click on, I need one for sale, this one. Does this look different than Stratus? Are we okay with that? I hear no, I hear yes, I hear Gary, get out of the building, it's all good. It doesn't matter. Here's why it doesn't matter. Once you learn where the information is that you're looking for, you'll automatically, your eyes will get trained to it. But for those that just want to see it the old-fashioned way, we got you. I already see a big smile. You already know where I'm going, don't you? I want you to look at the very top. And there's a gear icon at the very top beside the big blue button. You click that. Right now, I'm looking at a broker full. We'll call it the Realm version. We'll call it the New Age version. Call it whatever you want. Call it the version you don't like. I don't care. Because when you click this down arrow, you can change it to a broker full sheet. And for some of you, this will be the first time you've ever seen this. And for others, you're like, yeah, it's the history lesson. Let's move on. This is what it looks like. Okay? The question is, do you have to do that every time? Every time you log back into the app, you typically have to do that. We're trying to encourage them to say default view, right? I will agree. This is much easier to look at because we all know at the very top, there's our listing price. We know the status is still for sale, other than price drop or everything else, or price change, excuse me. We know where to get our MLS number. We know the seller. We know everything. And I know what everyone else is looking at. I'm a realtor too. We know what the commission is, all that kind of stuff, right? We know where to find that information. However, there's a however. Here's the one thing you have to remember is the system was built for the previous view, we'll call it. So if you, and we're working to get this fixed. Who wants to book a showing on this property? Let's just pretend we all do. And you go and click. This might work now. I don't know. Why can't I see? Online appointment. See, I don't have my glasses on. They're in my hand. Will it work? Will it work? It's working. Okay. I'm good. Well, whatever. That's the actual individual listing. Okay. What I was going to say is that link would only work on the Realm view. They've now fixed it. So good for them. After many people complained about it. But just know that typically everything's built for the Realm view, but here's how you view it in the old Stratus version. Yes, at the back. I believe so. I believe they are. That's a good question. So will you be able to, that's the print the open house and flyer, yes. And we'll show you how to do printing in just a minute here. Yeah. So if I go back, if I click that gear icon, I'm going to go back to the broker full, and we're going to look at this. And there's a few things in here. This is all self-explanatory. On the right-hand side, that's obviously the listing agent, listing brokerage. If I just look at this picture here, if I just click my right arrow or left arrow on the screen, I can cycle through. Probably because we're streaming. I think because we're connected to many different ways. I can cycle through the images that way as well. That's kind of one of my favorite ways to do it. Or if you want to look at it, just click upon the blue, the icon there. That'll bring it up into a larger view. Of course, it's failing on this. That's what you do then. It might just be that individual listing. As I scroll down, you'll see client remarks. You'll see your brokerage remarks, right? The one thing that we typically always want to read first, right? The listing information, all the tax information, your seller, all that kind of stuff. All that typical type of information is there. And your room sizes, that's nothing different. What we have here, though, is pretty cool. We have not the listing, wherever that question came from, not the listing history, but the property history. So I can see here this property just came up for sale back in June, and it previously sold in 2009. And then you can see wherever, this is the cool thing, is wherever you see a TREB MLS number, we can click it. Yes. So if I click that, it takes me to that listing from 2009. Very, very handy when you're doing research on a property. Maybe you're going to do a CMA or at a listing, you're about to do a listing presentation. You want to see what's happened on your comps. That is a great way to do it, especially now, right? Are we seeing a lot of listings get relisted and repriced? And it doesn't necessarily show up on the actual listing because they're just doing new listings, right? This is a great way to just go take some extra notes, write them down in your CMA and what have you. Brings me to another point, and then we'll go back to it. Any link. Who likes having multiple windows open in Google Chrome or whatever? Whatever browser you're using for. Like, who has at least more than 10 open at a time? 20, 30. Yeah, I'll have like, I'm with you. You're my kind of people. Yeah, you can't read it. Yeah. You need multiple windows. How do you do that? We all do that. We want to see multiple round windows open or multiple listings, right? You just right click any link and open up in a new tab. So it'll open it up in a new tab. Any link. Use that. It expedites it so much faster for you. Back to the original listing we're looking at. As you might recall, I said Terranet owns Geo Warehouse. So all that information is pulled in here. You can, but there's no need to jump into Geo Warehouse when you're doing an offer to verify that these are the sellers that are actually on title, because it's already here, right? Just saves that little extra step. Sometimes we want to go do that. That's okay. Yeah.
One thing I find really convenient is it also shows up this release. So back in the day, I love Stratus, and I'm just in these well, but I was doing one last night and I was able to pull that was released back in 2010. So instead of going back and forth, I was able to. Excellent. Yeah. So what was said there in this same list, you can see listed for sale. It might also say listed for lease or leased, which is very, very handy on a property that perhaps you're just trying to get a little bit more intel on, right? Excellent. Good catch. You can see the see more button here. So if I click that, you can see it goes back to 1992, this database, and it will be expanded to 1988, just like Stratus is. But this is a great example, actually, going all the way back to 1992. Land registry, that's somewhat self-explanatory. This is kind of outside the realm, but maybe just a good word of advice. And I know we're doing this, Jamie Lee, at our office now, and Barry is encouraging people to ask those questions about, do you ever gone and done a CMA or a listing presentation and something just didn't sit right? Meaning, I don't know if there's enough equity in this home to pay out a number of different things. Well, this is where you can order the parcel registry, and you can do that right here. It's like $30, and you can get to see what liens are registered on title. It won't tell you the current balance of a mortgage, as we know, but it will tell you the amount that was registered, and if there's secondary financing,
or any other types of leads, maybe a construction lead or what have you, is a great way to do that. You might want to, might become best practice for your listings if you want to do that. It's $30. It could save you a lot of headaches. Maybe there's something registered on title that perhaps shouldn't be there. And you can have your lawyer take care of it. So that might be a great thing to add. But you can do that all from in here. You don't have to jump into Geo Warehouse. Excuse me, or do that. You can just do that all right here. Has the MPAC information. So although it was a link previously, it's now embedded onto this as well. And I'm just scrolling down, has some simpler listings, just like some of the websites. And for some, this is important information, the demographics. I don't often use it, but for some that might be, and I'm at the bottom, that might be important to use. Good stuff. Okay, questions.
First of all, do you mind opening your neighborhood guide? That's where you said schools can become, right?
No. I will show you how to locate schools. That is one way to do it, not the way.
But then it has all the schools in the city, not the particular.
Yes.
school.
This is just, when you click neighborhood guide, so that is a house queue, right? That's what it is. Hood queue, thank you. That'll show you the individual schools associated to this particular listing. What I'm going to show you is something on the map that allows you to see where the school catchment is and all the properties in that specific area. Okay, let's move on. You might say to yourself, Garrett, this is great. I want to print this, but I don't want to print. Has anyone tried printing in Realm? I heard a laugh. I'll take that as a yes. I click this blue button, and as you can see, I can do many different things in here. I can email it to a client. That'll be self-explanatory. We won't get into that. The one thing, although, that you cannot do at this moment, and it really drives me nuts, that's okay, is you can't email attachments. Because what do people attach? Like sometimes a survey or the floor plan. Okay, this is totally off topic, but I just bought a house, so I was a home buyer. Do you know the one thing that I loved the absolute most when I was a home buyer in this past couple of weeks? My agent. Wow, that's a good one. Yes. Okay, next topic. Was floor plans. I heard a yes. Put your floor plans in the images. I'll tell you, so many people love that. At least this guy did. And if I didn't get a floor plan in the listing, I was emailing my great agent out in Kelowna. I moved to Kelowna. I wanted that floor plan. Create it, not only attachment, put it in your images. The one thing you cannot do with emails at this moment is email attachments. We can do that in Stratus. Kind of frustrating. Here's what we can do. There's a disclosure on this property. We'll just pretend it's a floor plan or whatever. This is a bad example, but it doesn't matter. This link at the very top, that huge long link, once I have it, it's now becomes becomes public. All I got to do is copy and paste it and put it into the email that's going to my client. Then when they get it, they just click it and it opens up to them. So that's kind of the hack of the workaround. So if this was a floor plan or the survey or some relevant information that belongs to the property, that's how you would do it. A little couple extra steps, but for those that want to email attachments, that's how you do it. That's correct. Yeah, as long as that is a part of the listing. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Back to this. I can obviously add it to a list. If this was my listing, I could hit the add edit. Create a CMA from it. Here's the listing. Someone asked about the listing history. Here's for this particular listing history. I would click my blue button and click it right here, and a little pop-up will show me all this information. And if I scroll down in here, see if we have any major changes. Yeah, we've had a few changes. And as I scroll down in here, oh, maybe not. But things like this, that's where I would see it. Like, when did the price change happen? When did this happen? Yes.
Look at it and did they try to look global offers and then they cancel? But now sometimes the original brokerage remark
time. No problem.
I've not experienced that, so that might have been a one-off, I'm not sure. Typically, you'll see the current broker remarks and in this, and to your explanation, sometimes agents will choose to change the broker remarks or add in the broker remarks. All that should be found in here, when they changed it, the exact date, time, the content of those remarks, and the what am I trying to say? The current broker remarks is the one that should be posted on the listing. You found that sometimes that's not the case? I would say that's always, I would say that if you have that happen again, send it to me. Because that, yeah, I'm not sure that's, obviously that's a bug, if that's the case.
That history is just attached to the MLS, not the address.
Just this MLS number.
So if it's a cancel and relist, you still got it.
Just like in Stratus, you gotta do a little bit of homework there. If it's been listed multiple times, changed multiple times, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's right. How do I print this? Click my blue button again. I go to print. And there's a few things that has to happen here. One of the things is I don't want to, if you print it just like, hang on, it remembers my, if you print it like this, I'll show you what it does. Print listing details, broker full, because this is when you log into Round perhaps the first time, or you're going to print, this is typically what's going to happen. Let's see if this will pop up. Give this a second. What's going to happen here is, yes, it's going to print this view in 6 or 7 pages. And I got to tell you, nobody wants that. Nobody has time for that. We all want it in 1 or 2 pages, right? How do we change that? Line sheet. I like it. You guys know. When you know, you know. Print, broker full, sheet. And if I do the, obviously, there's the client full sheet version there as well. That's self-explanatory. If I go to print, wait for that to build out. There it is in 1 sheet, slightly 2. It will default to my last, whatever I chose last, which is always broker full sheet. You might say, yeah, well, this is still on 2 pages. So is Travis. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I have a fan. That's good. Someone backing me up. So is Travis. I didn't print a double-sided, but that's how we get it on 1 sheet. The other thing too here is you might want to, or at least my practice is to save these as PDFs. When if this is my sale, whether I'm on the buy or the sell side, I'm going to save this. And you can simply do that within Google Chrome or what have you. And I just save it to my property folder. That's how I would do that as well. Because sometimes you have to send this to a lawyer or mortgage broker. They don't want the link. They just want it like this, right? Not sometimes, probably all the time. You're doing that, right? Yeah. Email, I should have clicked into this. We can change the link, okay? If you can do this in Stratus, right in the middle of our screen here, detail view form. We can do the exact same thing in here. So if I'm sending this link to another colleague, my lawyer, that's how I would change this if I want them to see the broker full information. All good? All good. All right. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Do we feel comfortable looking at a listing and the information provided? Yes. We need to spend a little bit of time on searches. The searches, I love the search criteria on here, but I got to tell you, if you're just logging in and looking at it for the first or second time, it can be a little frustrated. I get you, and we'll show you how to use it. Yes. Yeah, so that's also kind of a Stratus issue as well.
Can you repeat the question for those on the
Yes,
phone?
so when I'm looking at any listing and I want to reach out to an agent, and so let's, I'm trying to reach Ron here as an example. All I see is, well, we're very fortunate. Ron most likely has a cell number there. That's just his personal, option in his profile that provide that. I'll tell you though, not everyone does that. So how do we get that? You got to get pretty creative sometimes in getting that cell number. Like at the end of the day, call the office and have that agent page. Okay, searching. Here's the one thing that I love is the search. What you can see here is a map of Stouffville, because that's where I live. That's typically where I trade the most. However, sometimes I do cross that Durham-York region line, and other times I'm in Newmarket, Aurora, and some other places, and I don't want to look at that area. This system, 9 times out of 10, will always remember your previous search. And if it doesn't, it goes back to your default search. With that in mind, there's one thing that you will probably want to do, because you might be looking, let's just say I removed the shape. Okay, you can see that big blue shape around Stouffville? Sometimes what happens is, look at that. There. You might be thinking to yourself, I know there's more properties in this certain area that I'm looking for, but I can't find what I'm looking for. The first thing that I do, or my eyes are trained on, right under freehold, says the number of listings that it's popped up, 76. As I move my map around, that number will refresh and change, now 41. So that kind of gives you just a little tidbit of what's available. The other thing that I want to do, and I'll go through this, who loves looking at, let's just look at the views first. At the map view. Who searches by map? Yes, you're like me. That's what I want. Yeah, visual. You're visual, aren't you? Visual, yeah. Who wants to view it in, we'll call it like the Excel format way, in columns. Yeah, we got a few of those. We can do both. We can do both. I'm going to click on layout and I can choose different types of layout. So that's the top right-hand corner. And I can do, maybe you're a bit of both. Maybe you can't decide what you want. You could do the map and the columns at the bottom, which is kind of how I believe how usually Stratus looks for most people, I believe. I can change this layout to a table view, and maybe that's how you search. So do whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to go back to the consumer view just so I can show you a few things. First thing you want to do is you want to go into more filters, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. I don't know if everyone can see it in the room here, but reset to default or clear will become 2 of your favorite buttons, bottom left-hand corner. Because it stays, it remembers, yes. As I said, it remembers your previous search. And not every client is looking for a 9-bedroom, 9-bath home, right? So that's how we clear that. That's one of the first things you want to do. You either hit, if I hit clear, it'll remove any search criteria that I have. If I hit reset to default, my default for me is still detached homes. And whatever your default is, it'll go back to that. You may have noticed that there's 2 clear buttons, one at the top here and one at the bottom. Each one does the same, or they both do the same. So let's click clear. Okay, this came up, I think, in the early part here where we're asking what do we want to learn today. If I know my MLS number, I'm on this page. I can simply enter it in here, start typing any sort of numbers. I don't even know what numbers are out these days. I can start typing any number in there, and that's where I would put that. If it's 3 or 4 or 5 MLS numbers that you have copied and pasted, you can do that. Just separate them by comma, just like in Stratus, and those 4 or 5 will show up for you.
Why are yours
Yellow.
Why are mine blue?
your little dogs?
And yours are yellow?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know.
Well, eventually, like, you will be able to say you there, if you're saying something about that earlier.
Yes, I'll show you where to type the address in. We can do that now. Okay, so in Stratus, where are we? We are currently in Durham, right? We all agree we're in Durham?
Drop down and then.
There we go, we're in Durham.
Like that, okay.
We're in Oshawa. And give me a community that will have lots of show, or lots of listings.
Peter,
Sorry?
Peter,
Keter, is that with a K, I'm sorry?
K-E-D-R-Y.
K-E. Right here. What are you noticing on my map? It's not showing that, is it? Because this is something that we're going to work on. It's showing everything kind of within Durham, Oshawa, and Keter. All we need to do is click that little box that says match on all area municipality community values. Click done, and that changes.
What's the point of entering the community if it doesn't recognize it?
I have no idea. So we've asked for them to eliminate, we asked for them to be the default on this. Here's the best thing that this system will do for me. I don't need to enter in those other values. Nice, I heard a nice over here. I can go right back into location and go right over to Kedron. I realize that. There you go. And you can just skip those two other steps. And now it's showing just that community. Yeah.
Okay, so this, I'm struggling with this. You're here, okay? We now see that there's whatever, 30 listings. I want to pick 2 of them
Yeah.
and map them.
Excellent. I'll show you that. Just a second here. We can do it quite easily. Okay. So yeah, do that. Okay. Let's narrow this down a little bit. Just like in Stratus, we only want to look at homes that I go back to. This is in my way.
Sorry, what layout are you in right now?
I am currently in Exuvi, but I'm looking at more filters. If I click more filters, that closes, and I see the listings on the left-hand side here. Well, let's say our client only wants to look at 4 bedrooms, right? That's self-explanatory. Here's the one catch though. It will only pull 4 bedrooms. If I want to look at 4 or more, you've got to click the next button up or whatever. Maybe it's 3 or 4, whatever it is that you're looking for, right? So now it's pulling in 4 and 5 bedroom homes.
Are they gonna change it so we can do greater than 3? Like
No,
that
you just-
sounds like a minimum instead of
4, if you want to let it 2+2.
You just keep clicking on, right now, you just keep clicking on the number of bedrooms that you at least want. But they do have that in their pipeline to what you just suggested.
Gary, a question from the chat.
Yeah.
Are you able to edit your default settings for map search? Yes?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, you can. By time, I'll show you how to do that. Everything else is self-explanatory. We're looking at freehold. We can specifically look at detached, although I would assume all these are detached. Change our pricing, more filters. And sometimes there's a field that we want to add. You would do that at the bottom, just like in Stratus. I don't need to get into the beats of that, but just the same way as Stratus, you would do that there. But you're saying, Garrett, there's still 20 listings, and I want to choose 2 or 3 of them, right?
Yeah, pick 2 random ones.
So we're gonna, I really like this one, and I can do that by selecting the little box.
That's one of our ones.
Excellent, I knew what I was doing. No, or I'm looking at this one over here, and I can just select that blue box here. Or if I actually go into a listing, let's go into this one. And I select the same blue box is right there. So I just chose or selected 3 listings, right? I think it was 3. Now what? What do you do with
We
it?
want to book appointments just for those 3. We don't want to see all 20.
Don't want to see. Here's what you need to do. You need to change your layout to table. Uh-huh.
And then narrow, is there?
And then this button right here is our narrow button.
Okay, now go to maps so I can put them in order before I book my appointment.
So now,
Go to map.
I feel like I'm doing someone's job for them right now.
Okay, all right, go to map now. So I can put them in order of viewing. Look to
So
layout.
now, nope, we're gonna do it like this. We are going to go to searches, nope, view, hang on.
Directions?
Yeah, where is that? Why am I not seeing it? Oh, right there, directions. And I can get directions by like this. Or I can go back here and I can change them. Now you might say, well, Gary, I don't even know where these are. Right? So what you were offering or asking is just go to the, and I said,
Oh, there's a bug.
nope, it
It's
should
a
work
bug.
for me
It's a bug.
because it worked for me the other day.
No, it doesn't work.
I love the optimism.
It's annoying and it's a bug.
Table.
You can't, it doesn't matter what you do, you can do it 100 times. It's not going back, it's only 3 in the map.
Yeah, you click that. and then-
There you go. I knew it. That's how you do
What
it.
did you do?
So. We stop on boats. It just took me a second. What else you got? What else you got? No, I don't remember how to do that. Here's what we did. What's that? Look at the recording. I like it. Moving on. Okay, so we have our 3 listings and we want to book showings on them, but they're all like this. I can go to any layout. Let's go back to our table view. And I clicked our little shrink button or sort button. But now, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go back to layout. I'm going to go to map plus table.
Hey.
And I'm going to click that shrink button. Now I can see where they are. And I'm thinking, hang on, I got to keep clicking it. It's one of those silly little things. Hang on, what if I did this? So the bug is trying to stay alive. Here's something interesting though. I just noticed. I moved the map so small, it only has 2 of those listings. You gotta be careful with that, right? I love learning with you guys. This is great. There you go.
Oh, now you lost the listing. Look at that,
You know
Gary.
what? I bet you it's just sold.
No.
You snooze, you lose, you know. I gotta tell you, it's sold.
No, we're gonna go back to table. You're gonna go back to table. You're gonna go back to your 3, narrow down, go back to your table.
We're gonna go here. I'm just gonna mix it all up. It's gone.
Avalon, the one on Avalon is gone. Lost Avalon. Adrian's listed.
It's sold. Somebody look that up. I bet you it's sold.
He's holding offers until tonight. It's not sold. Can we get a deposit check for Avalon?
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Where are we now?
And then from there, once you narrow it down, then you go to the, how did you do the directions? So-
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to pretend Avalon's still here. We got our 3. For those playing along, I'm going to go click the blue arrow over here, top right-hand corner, I should say, hit directions, and then click get directions. And then this is just Google Maps. This is not Realm or anything in
Now,
here.
once you're there, oh yeah, you can switch the order there.
Yeah, you can. You can just drag these around. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But you have to go back in now to book the appointment. So you have to fall back and forth to go in, which is more time consuming than what we're used to.
And then, yeah.
It's not a bug, it's just more time consuming.
No, it's the exact same steps.
So now you gotta write down the order, then you gotta go back into the Stratus or whatever this is called, Realm, and then book the appointment.
Let's see which one is pussy.
So, okay, moving on. What do we need to know now? CMA. Hang on a second. Let's spend some time. You can tell I keep pushing the CMA off. I'll tell you why. CMA is not my favorite thing in here. Let's go to here.
Waiting for the drop down to click on the offer now.
I'm sorry?
You know, when you do the drop down, you have to like click on it and click away and click on it. Right? Is there a round back? When you're choosing your location and you go zero, and then you got to speak your Edison, click on it in order to get your drop down and go away.
You just click out of it. Yeah.
When you're searching, you're trying to do something, how do you put multiple
I don't know. I'll have to look that out.
Like, when I try to put like a comment there, I can't put it, because that's a drop.
Oh, okay, the question is, how do you search multiple streets?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the and or at the bottom. That should work for you.
I have.
That's work.
Yeah, that should work for you, the and or. Okay, let's go back here. I'm gonna close this. So, what do I do? Conservative view. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the map view, and there's a few tools on here that I think are excellent for you as realtors to learn about what's going on in the market, to share with your clients, whether they're buyer or sellers. We can look at a couple of different things on here. This is just like any other Google map or what have you, so I'm not going to get deep onto that. You can create shapes, same as in Stratus, create your own custom shape, do all sorts of different things. What I'm going to show you today is map layers. And I love this because have you ever been on a showing and your client says, this house is nice, but I really love that one across the street. And you're thinking, oh, okay. I guess I got to go door knock, but I don't even know their names. What do I got to do? We can go home and pull up that inventory, or pull up Geo Warehouse and so forth. Parcel Fabric can become your friend. Yeah. Parcel Fabric is essentially Geo Warehouse information. We are realtors, so we use it accordingly, correct? Right? We don't use it for other frivolous activities. Just saying what I need to say. I click on this, and I should say too, sometimes when you click on this, it will remember what map layer you previously used. So sometimes you want to go back and you just reset it. Nothing's changed to my map currently, right? Excuse me. As I'm just double clicking. As I zoom in, you'll start to see something happen. Whoops. Okay, already happened. All of these are the lot boundaries for any property in Ontario, actually. This is really, really helpful if you need to get some information on any of these properties that are around the area. And all I need to do is click on any property there, and it gives me the Geo Warehouse information, just like that. My friends, you can do this from your phone. This is everything I'm showing to you today. You can do from your phone.
Can you go down and see what was left listed?
Sure can. And I'm crossing my fingers. Yes. This is an excellent example. So you can see here that this home sold back in February 2022. Because it has an MLS number, I click on it, you got it. You're following along. You're having it. How great is that? Great. The answer is great, Derek. It's great. Yeah. I love that feature. So that's one of the map layers. How do you turn it on? Just as a reminder, you just check it and it turns itself on. Schools. Yes, let's click on schools. Nothing's changed, probably because I'm zoomed in too far. I'm not sure. I'm not incredibly familiar with it. Okay, I zoomed out. Every blue balloon is a school. And if I look at the top right-hand corner of my map, currently I'm only looking at public. I can add Catholic, and it's looking up all grade levels at this moment. Okay? And you can see that what distinguishes public school and Catholic schools across is Catholic, obviously self-explanatory there. You might have a client that says, yeah, Garrett, I want my child to go to this school here, which is John Bosco.
Which was a district.
So is the districts.
Oh.
How awesome is that? Now, I will tell you, my friends, that if you want to create a search for that specific district, you've got to create a custom map. So I'm going to go into my drawing function here. And I can start, I'll just pretend that I want a custom map. Oops, I just grab that, make it bigger. You get the idea, right? And I would save that as a custom search for that particular client or that school even, right? That's how I would do that. And you can save that search by going, this is a terrible map. You can tell I'm not very artistic in that way. I can go to searches and I can do save search just like that. And I can save this as, save it as JV school. Name it whatever. You can save it for yourself. Maybe stop. This is where Billy Byer wants, and you can save it for Billy Byer, and all of a sudden he'll get those notifications on those listings, just like in Stratus.
Can you show the school one more time?
Sure can. Sure can. So I'm going to delete my map layer, or my custom search. I've unchecked the school, and I can click on any of these schools here. That's a bad example. Let's go back. Is it this one? There we go. And I just click on that school balloon. And it gives me a little bit of information about the school, actually. Pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, elementary school. And I'm sure if I clicked on one, it would give me, like I could change this, obviously, to public, and we only want high schools. So you probably already know this, there's only one in that area, Maxwell Heights.
But what is the area that's shown, the map area?
That map area is the catchment. So if you live in this area right here, you have your child will go to that high school.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this is excellent for those that are servicing families and so forth. This is an excellent way. This is the information I don't need to remember, right? Because our phone, Google has everything. Our phone, Realm has everything we need. I can pull that up while I'm at a showing and say, yeah, this catchment is Maxwell. Exact same way. Go to your map. You have different map layers. Choose the school on your phone. Sorry, yeah, schools, and it'll pop up. You might have to zoom out a little bit to see the names. The next one I'm going to show you. So I have all map layers turned off. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And this is great for those who loves market stats. Who hates market stats? That's okay. Some of us, and I train realtors all over the place, we don't use market stats because sometimes we don't know how to retrieve them, or perhaps we don't know how to interpret them. That's okay. We have lots of friends here that do know how to interpret them. Lean on those people. But I'm going to show you how to pull some stats really, really easily, incredibly easily. One thing that we see here under map layers is average sale price. I'm going to click on that, close that, and look at what's going on with my map. I got all sorts of information here. It's obviously showing the listings at the same time, but if I zoom in here, the redder the area, the hotter or the higher the average price has changed. And you can see here, hopefully you can see on my screen. If I click on the North Glen area, I guess that's the airport area, isn't it? It says 1,080,000. I click on that. That's the average. Hopefully you can see what's going on here.
So the redder the area, the higher the change in.
Yes.
The higher the
So
change in
what I'm
area.
seeing here is, for those that can't see it, that number is giving me 28 sales from, and at the bottom of my screen, it says from the average of this year. So since January, there's been 28 sales there. Just like that, I was able to get that information. I can change the time frame at the bottom by clicking the year icon to different years. Very, very simple, okay? It's not giving you the real in-depth information, but really, really quickly. You might have an area here that you're watching, and you can see, maybe it's this section over here near Pinecrest. You can see that this year we've had 11 sales, right? At an average of $722,000.
You use 2 layers of maps. So if somebody wants to live in the school district of O'Neill, say, and they want to know what the average sale price is in the O'Neill district, can you do that through this? Do you layer the maps or no?
No, you cannot multi-layer the maps. That's the question, right? However, if I've created that Maxwell Heights High School search, right, the little custom map window that I created, I can then load this map layer on. So that's kind of a workaround on how to do that. The other way, yeah, that's probably a bug. Yeah, you're right. The other way to do it is, where's my mouse? Or the other thing that I like is the growth. It's not only the average price, sometimes we want that growth, right? Here's where your home was at last year, here's where it's at this year. And a lot of us that are experiencing is our home might be a little bit down from perhaps where it was last year, right? And you can see in one area here, I'm seeing right off the bat, let me close this. We've had 3% growth in this area.
Sorry, is this growth of what? Sales, number of sales, volume of sales?
Your
Growth of-
pricing, your price from where it was last year. So this is your average price and what that percentage is year over year. The other, here's, who does prospecting and door knocking? I'm a big proponent of door knocking in areas where there's high turnover. Does that make sense? Yes, I heard it, yeah. Why would I want to do that? I want a better opportunity of talking to more sellers than perhaps an opportunity where there's only one home that's sold in these 200 homes in the last year, right? How do I get that information? We don't have that type of information without doing some deep dives on Stratus. Here, I have it in a click. So I'm looking at one area here that's showing me a 6% turnover of all the homes, 8% turnover of all the homes, as opposed to an area over here of say 3.5%. If I look at this area of 6% or even 8% versus this area, I don't know your area, so I apologize. I just more than doubled my chances of talking to a seller in this area. Is that right? Yeah, even though there might be some other realtors in that area, that might be a great way to prospect. Especially for those of us that have teams, this is a great way to help your client or help your agents, seek out opportunity, right? Good stuff.
I'm not getting that showing up. The schools are showing up, but.
Turn your school zone off
Yeah.
and click on the turnover, and it should pop up for you. Okay.
Turnover, average sale and growth. But everybody else is.
The next thing in here, and I don't use these too often, is sometimes we need to know the boundaries. So there's your OSHRA boundary, obviously. The other map layer would be your areas and communities. I don't necessarily use those. I use the school one the most, quite frankly, and sometimes that turnover if I'm helping some agents create some prospect areas or some farms.
The area one is good for agents that have rural properties or something sitting right on the boundary of whatever, Fort and Peterborough, so it helps with that.
Absolutely, because what I can do, obviously, is I can zoom out here and I'm seeing all the areas. I'm not just focusing on Oshawa. I can see all those areas quite easily. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, what else we got here? CMAs. Stop it. We'll get there. Promise, we'll get there. It is 2:30. Here is, let me turn on the layers. Let me show you, okay, some stats. There are some really neat ways to pull stats on here. Let me show you, let's go back here. Stats are in here, and there's sold stats. So this, let's just pull June. This is something that you might have seen in Stratus. Let's go Oshawa.
Is that the same one? Is it almost the same as Brad?
Exactly, right? That's why I went here. It's the exact same thing you're seeing in Stratus, right? Very familiar. So I will go back and show you how I did that. So what I did here is I clicked on the dice at the top right-hand corner. And if you know where it is, you can, sold stats is right at the top. So
Is there basically a blue icon and a orange?
I believe blue icon is a link within the Realm platform. And I think orange takes, not 100% sure on that. So this is, we have access to these stats right in Shred right now. So I'm going to click on June. I can click on municipality, whoops. Slow down. Oshawa. I can also add Whitby to this if I want. And I can simply click on Oshawa in here, and we're not going to teach you how to read the stats today, but that gives you what was available and active and sold in the month of June. And you can go back various months as well. Get that info.
Give you days on market.
Sorry,
It doesn't give you days on market.
this does not give you the days on market. No. No.
Everybody's status though.
Yeah. The nice thing here is I can print this or export it to a PDF, which is helpful if I want to include this on a CMET, actually, right? Yeah. No, that's something entirely different. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can on Trev Market Watch. That's where I would get that info. Not within Realm. I would leverage Trev Market Watch, and Trev has their new stats platform, and all of a sudden the name in this case. Tableau. Sorry? Tableau. Yeah, anyways, it's phenomenal. They just updated it. Okay, that's a good question. We probably should have looked at that just previously. Back to my search page, and let's say, this is actually a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's go back into the Taunton area over here. And right now, I'm just mapping you. I don't have a certain community highlighted or anything like that. And I want to look up to see what's sold. So we're going to choose unavailable. However, it's pulling properties that go all the way back. And this slider can go all the way back to now 1980. Nuts. I don't really care about that, do I? And I don't want to change this to now. I'm just going to leave this, especially if we're doing a CMA. You want to know what's been sold the last 3 months or sooner, right? I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to make sure that's set on unavailable. I'm going to click done. I'm going to go to more filters. And just like in Trev or Stratus, I can select the specific date. So let's go back to June 1st.
It does the T minus 90 as well.
Yes, it does. And I didn't mention that. I'm not a strong user in that. I always forget about that. So thank you. So you just set your sold date or the T minus. And now we're looking at all the properties that, whoops, let me uncheck that. That's how I look up the sold properties within a time frame, or I would add a specific time frame on the other side here. Yeah. Yeah, I do all the time. However, if we're doing a CMA, it's a little different, right? Yeah. That's how I would review that information. Again, I only want to look at sold, so I'm going to filter a little bit more because these properties might have expired, especially in today's market, right? We might see some expireds. That's how I would select that. And you can get obviously more detail. You're doing a CMA, you're only looking at comps with 4 bedrooms or what have you, right? That's how I would do that. Sold stats. Actually, let's flip here. Let's add, what community is this? Can someone help me out here? This is Oshawa. Taunton? Type Taunton? Okay. Perfect. This is excellent. Okay, here's something really cool. I close out my filters. It's showing me 11 listings. And I want to look at a few things over here. I gotta go back to my layout table. I want to highlight all of these. So I want some stats out of this. Maybe I'm talking to a seller and they want to see some of the average prices, or I want to retain that information, or I'm doing a social media post, or whatever it is you want. I've highlighted all of these 11 properties. And if I go over here, click my top blue button at the top right-hand corner, I can hit stats and counts. And just for those 11 properties, it's giving me the stats on that. And it has everything, including days on market. That was mentioned on the previous stats. That was a great way to pull stats as well. Everyone follow what I did there? Thank you, appreciate it.
Show you now.
Let me do that one more time. Back to consumer view. Currently, I'm looking at homes that have sold in Taunton. Let me show you this actually. Homes that have sold in Taunton since June 1st. Should I ever, I'm gonna do a little segue here. Should I ever be confused at what I'm pulling? Or I want to get some clarity on the information that I'm pulling? This button, it's my window here. Oh, I can hide that. That's accident.
Gabby, see the listing up at the top, that's outside of the box?
Yeah.
That's somebody who's inadvertently labeled that as a top listing,
Bingo.
and it should, and it is inside of the map.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right at the very bottom. Any search that you're doing, let me move that so you can see, sorry. Any search that you're doing, you can hit explain. Explain to me like I'm a 2-year-old. What am I looking for, right? Here's what we're doing. This is a bad example. However, because I'm pulling sold information, the numbers might be a little bit skewed. But if we just look in Taunton, this is a bad example. However, that I'm going to show you, because we're looking at sold information. I'm going to show you a better way to look at this. Let's go over here real fast. Hang on. Let's go back to Taunton, and I'm going to look at currently what's for sale. TAU, very good. There we go. This is currently what's for sale in Taunton. I go to more filters, and I go explain. This is what I'm looking for. Currently, there's 81,000 listings on Toronto Real Estate Board. Secondly, 55,000 of those are for sale. And as you can see, 33,000 plus are freehold. 43 of them are in Taunton, because that's what we're looking for. Detached, there's 35 of them, and we're still looking for homes with bedrooms 4 or 5 or more, right?
If you changed your filter, you added the Durham and the Oshawa, would it add those to that criteria, as they explain?
Absolutely. Oops. Sure. There you go. So in Durham, there's 2,000 listings. In Oshawa, there's 491. And as I add more criteria to it, it kind of just keeps breaking it down. And that'll keep going. And you might say, yeah, like I'm searching for properties that are not coming up. And you might see on some of the online chats and so forth, one of the questions that I'll always ask is, can you post a picture or review the explain button? And sometimes it's something really simple that you got left on, a criteria that was left on, right in here. This is also a great way just to pull some quick stats, right? There's probably at least 10 different social media posts out of this, if you're looking for content, right? Or more, right? As realtors, we have an amazing opportunity to share a story, right? And it's the story that we share often what people will listen to. So here's a great way to get some content for that story. Quick question.
The market insights button, so if you put that in the market insights.
Yeah, that's a little above what we're doing today. So if I go back into done and market insights, that's going to give me some of the information about that current local market, which is pretty good. It'll give me the information on, well, it's all self-explanatory right here, right? Very similar to the sold stats, as it were, on the previous, or the other page that I'm going to show you right now, which is, yeah, you got it. The other cool thing is this was Taunton, right? Yeah. If I made a custom map or a custom shape, I can do the exact same thing for my custom shape. So if I had something very specific that I was creating and I wanted stats on it, I just go over here and click that stats and counts button. Doesn't matter what my shape is, doesn't matter how big it is, doesn't matter what the criteria is. That's where I'm going to review those stats. Question?
So on that, so tell me, what's sold in a neighborhood in the last 30 days, and am I able to put on individual properties, just pictures of that? on the-
Absolutely, absolutely,
And then I will.
absolutely. So, where's our sold ones? Here's our sold ones. And we won't get into building CMAs today because that's probably a 2-hour or even longer course. And there's many different ways to do that. But I will show you my preferred way of getting the listings for CMA. And I use lists for that, like listing cards. I know you were saying you use listing cards, right? I use lists to build my CMA up. And I don't know about you, I use 5 on the market today and 5 that have sold. And we all kind of, it's almost about the same, right? No, yeah, no, you're, it's like, Gary, you said something that I've never heard before. So I want to get 5 listings that are just like your house, they're currently on the market. And I also get to do the exact same thing for them sold, right? So here's our sold listings. We agree? I'm selling a house, or you're selling a house in the Taunton area. I'm gonna go hit done, and I'm looking at this one, and maybe it is like I want this in the comp, or I don't. I'm just gonna click on the top right, or sorry, left-hand corner. I can cycle through the listings. Or I can go back to the map view and look at it. Of course, it's not gonna work for me right now. There it is.
How did the last one show all the photos at the same time? But this one showed just the one photo of the gallery underneath.
I think that's an individual upload. So if I go back here, yeah, that's one picture. And the listing agent just provided. This is, as a buyer, I also love this. Anyways, I'm gonna add this property. I'm gonna add this property. I'm just clicking them at random. Not that one. This property. And now I have 3, right? Let's just pretend that was 5. I'm going to click over and click my blue arrow over here. And I want to add it to a list. And I'm going to go to my list. I'm going to create a brand new list, and CMA test, or the address of the CMA that you're doing is probably what you'd want to add it to. And now I have that. So now I've added those 3 sold properties. I can go on any window that I have open, and now I can click this one, this one, this one, this one, this, oops, yeah, and that one. Click, I have 3 or 4 additional properties. I want to add them to a list. Add to list. I'm going to go to my list, and I just called it CMA test. Those 4 properties have now been added to that list. So now I have my sold properties, I have my for sale properties. You're thinking to yourself, this is great, Gary, but I want to go review them again. How do I do that? How do I go view my list? We can do it a couple different ways. So I'm back on my home page. I can go to contacts. This is something we haven't really looked at yet. However, you can see that when you look at contacts, it'll always default to you. And if it's not on you, let's say it's on Billy Byer over here, just click your name at the top left-hand corner. It'll take it to yourself. And you can see, normally the images come in. I think it's just our Wi-Fi here. But there's my CMA test. I think I'd already had, I like it. I already had a list named that, so it got added to these, I believe. There they come in. And this is an older one. I should have named it energy. Anyways. So now I have my property selected. How do I create the CMA out of it? As I said, I was never a huge fan of Treb's CMA. And this is how I would build it out though. I would create lists and then print off or save all the individual listings And since Trev, and I'm do not represent them in any which way, but maybe some of us use Top CMA. I absolutely love it. If you don't use it, it is an expense every year. I think it's about $300 or $400. It's tied right into Trev, and I love it. If you are the type of person that loves stats, it's really great. I can print off any statistical report in about 3 minutes of the entire Toronto Real Estate Board or something very specific as Tom. It also does, that's Top CMA. It also does CMAs. Okay. I'm not here to sell it or do anything. I'm just telling you my experience. How do I build a CMA in Realm? I don't even remember. This is, hang on a second. God. Oh, it's because I'm searching here. That's fine. Realm CMA. I click on it. Here's a couple of the test ones that I've had. And I can do it a couple of different ways. I don't use this very often. So if I might be learning along with you, but this is how I would do it. I'm going to use, I'll use my home that I just sold right here. So what did you notice? I did that really quickly, and I apologize. That home and a pool, thank you. Yeah, I'm really going to miss that home, by the way. It pulled up the previous MLS listing or MLS listings, and it's going to now import that into the CMA. Now, we, from time to time, list homes that have never been on the MLS, right? Or it's been so long, we don't want to really use that information. You can go enter an address manually and do it like that. The other thing that it'll do, and quite frankly, I don't love it because I like going in and doing a little bit more extra research and creating my own list. But you can see in here, it's going to create an automatic search for me for freehold homes with a distance of whatever I set it out to be in a date range. What I can set it out to be, I can get custom and price range and what have you. I like having a little bit more control over it. That takes me a little bit more time. And that's why I create that list. So I can skip this. Now, if you're that type of person that wants the system to do it for work, by all means, play around with it and do it. I simply just hit skip. I go to add comparable properties. And of course, I've got nothing, right? I didn't add anything. So what do I need to do? I click my blue button and add from saved list. I'm going to go. I apologize. I have two in here called the same thing. Didn't matter. I want all of these in here. Sure. Add. We'll just pretend this was the one that I was using. Now I have those listings built into the CMA. Makes sense? Follow along? Playing along? Yeah, good. I click on the next button over here that says adjustments. And sometimes we want to go in and write or type in notes why the properties are perhaps different from one to the next. So you can do that right on here, which is really, really cool. Obviously, in this, here's a great case. My home was a 5-bedroom home. This one was a 2-bedroom home. Do you think that evaluation is going to be a little bit different? So that would be your note, right? I'm the type of person that does two things. You do CMAs every which way you feel is the best. I have an online version that I bring on my laptop, and I'll show you that in a second. I also have a printed version that I leave with my clients. And that's where I write all my handwritten notes. Like, this is a 2-bedroom home. This basement was finished in 1977. Yours is brand new. Those are things that, right? And you can do that for each of the properties. And by clicking at the very top here, you'll see comparable property. 1 through 13, 2, and so on. You just keep clicking through. Customize the content. So what do you want to provide in this CMA? Right now, we have a title page, table of contents, subject property details, and so on and so on. You can see that price comparison, additional remarks. You can upload your own. Maybe you made something in Canva or Word or what have you. You can upload your own information. You can do that at the very bottom. Customize the appearance. Obviously, you want to make sure it's branded to you and not your colleague. You want your colleague getting credit for it, perhaps. And then you can hit share or export. You can preview it, obviously. So if I click the share or export, I'm gonna download it. Give that a moment. And I like having the digital version of it, which I never send to my client. And you do things your way. I never send to my clients because that can get sent all over the place. And I sometimes don't want that information sent all over the place. I usually have my laptop open and I'll go through some of the information there. Because here's what in my experience, and maybe some of you had a similar experience or different. Clients love flipping through photos or seeing photos. The CMAs don't often print off all the photos or the listings, right? That's why having your iPad or your laptop with the link already opened is phenomenal for that type of thing, right? Hit download. Hopefully I'll be able to share that. Here's the link. So copy and let's just post this up here. So if you were to have this open, this is what it would look like. I missed that pool. This is what it would look like. So it's one single page. I can click on the subject property. So that's my information, right? I can go at the very bottom. How to navigate this is at the top. Back to CMA or click your home button, or I can keep clicking and go through it. And this is what the app will do for itself. There's the price ranges. That's somewhat all self-explanatory. Here's the properties. I'm visual, so I like seeing it like this, right? Here's the property right in the middle. It says 0 because I didn't give it a valuation. And I typically, I don't know about you, I would do that with the client. So, self-discovery. But it shows you all those properties and where they are, right? You want to make sure, like, obviously these properties are terrible comparables to mine, right? Obviously. I can hit the comparable property, which is side by side. So it has their home and I can flip through them like this. And then each one individually like this as well. Now, I forget here. I'm looking for the photos. I think I can click them. Somehow I think I can click on the photos of each individual. Demographics. No. Here's a little heads up. I can't click on the photos, but I want to see more photos. But Gary, you said you would show photos. Do any of you ever go through Live Stratus with your clients sometimes? I don't either. However, I can do it pretty easily if I just go and click on my client. Sorry, yeah. Now I have all those photos because I have them saved in a list. Very, very handy. And the client wants to see a few more photos. Maybe we've narrowed it down. And they want to see a few more photos, I can have them on my laptop, right like this. Use whatever you find is the easiest for you to use. Yes. Yeah. No, you cannot. No, you cannot do this. And that's one of the things, that's one of the requests we have in there. And in fact, let me just do this for a second. Let me see here. Here's the CMA that I downloaded. And I'm just looking to see if it has, no, it doesn't have the individual photos. However, if I go back here, print photos, I can print the photos this way. It takes a little bit longer. Pardon me? Try again. It's okay. We got you. Okay. So this way is a little bit longer, and I know I like printing the photos too. This is how I would do it. I would go into the individual listings to print the photos should I need them.
I wasn't printing the photos, but when you try to try a full copy, comparison. I don't like the side by side version. I like the verified.
Yeah, it won't do that. You have to do that outside of the CMA. You can pull up your list and print all those properties. That might be a workaround for you. Yeah. There was another question here. Yeah.
So with all of this, and we're bouncing around doing CMAs and property searches and bouncing around realm, how do we make sure everything's saved as we're bouncing around?
If you're saving properties in the list, it'll always get saved in the list. The CMA will update. Now, you will have to, if you've gone back in to your list and added more properties to your list, you have to go into your CMA and add those couple of properties. Right? Yeah, that's the way to do
But
it.
just in general, with everything you showed us today, does it save automatically as we go? Do we have to hit a save button as we're doing going to different areas?
Not sure I'm following it. It'll always save. Is there something specific?
No, I guess if it'll always save, I can always, if there's a tab, I can go back to the tab,
Yeah.
my work is still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my friends, it's 3:00. I'm good to stay for a little bit for questions. But I know some of you probably have other appointments to do. If you need to excuse yourself, by all means, do so, but I'm good for another 15 minutes or so.
Well, first off, thank you, Jerry.
That's how you go. Yeah, lots of. Oh, I see the.